Hey y'all, it's Lacey, the Catholic Icing Lady, and today I'm going to show you how to draw wheat in a stained glass window. I also have free how to draw videos on how to draw a chalice and how to draw grapes in stained glass as well, so be sure to check it out to complete all three. You can find a link in the description below that will let you print your window frame for free if you'd rather just print it than drawing it. And I have a page that has 3 window frames on one paper so you can do all 3 designs on one page. Now I am going to go ahead and show you how to draw this window frame step by step, but if you've printed your window frame already, just go ahead and skip ahead. For those of us that are drawing it, we're going to start with a straight line across the bottom of our paper. Okay, now we're going to have 2 lines that go up the sides of the window, and the first thing I'm going to do is make dots that I can draw the lines to, and they need to be about the same height. Then right up the middle, we're going to draw a taller dot up here, and that's going to give us that pointy look at the top of our window frame. So now that we have all 3 of our dots in place, I'm going to turn my paper to draw a straight line to my first dot. So now we can just basically connect the dots is what we're doing. So I'm going to draw a line to my first dot. Then I'm going to turn my paper again, and I'm going to go from here to my top dot. Okay, I'm going to turn my paper again, and I'm going from this dot over to the next one. Then we're going to need one final line to close this shape. And the dots just help us keep it a little bit more symmetrical. They're just a tool for being able to draw it. Really good job. Okay, now that we have our outside shape, we're going to turn our paper right side up again. And we're going to go around the inside of the shape so that we have like a double window frame. So we're just going to leave a little bit of space. And then we're going to trace along the whole shape on the inside, trying to keep the same amount of distance between our 2 lines. And we're just going to run all of the lines parallel to the lines that we already drew. And the reason why I turn my paper is because there's a natural way that our wrists turn just from, just because there's just certain ways that your joints turn in your human body and certain ways that they don't. And sometimes it's a lot easier for us to get our lines in there when we turn the paper to work with our body. And we have one more line, and then we're going to have our entire double window frame. Perfect. Now at our top 2 corners, I'm going to make just a line connecting the inside and outside shapes. And then at the bottom corners, I'm going to make a square in each corner. And then at the top, I'm going to draw a little V, and that is also going to give us a little square at the top. Now we're going to come through on our whole window frame, and we're going to put in these little lines that are going to make our window frame into long, skinny rectangles, almost like bricks going all the way around our window. So not enough lines to make them tiny little squares, but just some lines to make them rectangles. And it doesn't matter if they're perfectly spaced or not, but I am trying to make mine all about the same size. Okay, that's the whole window frame. So if you've printed your window frame, then this is exactly the right time to join us. We are going to start drawing the wheat. We're going to start with one curvy line that comes across the window. And then we're going to parallel that line. This is one of our stalks of wheat. And it's going to come to a tip at the end, so we make them meet. Then we're going to make another line coming out of the top of it, continuing that curve. And then we're going to start making these bumpy lines all the way up. It's almost like the letter M. And then one at the top. Then we're going to come and mirror those bumps all the way down the other side. As you can see, the bumps are a little bit bigger towards the bottom of the line, and they get smaller as they go up. Now we're going to put in another stalk of wheat coming off of this one and curve it a little more to the left, and we need 2 lines and they're going to come to a point. Then we're going to continue that line just like we did the other one, and now we're going to add our bumps. So we start with bigger bumps and they get smaller as they come up. Then we get one at the top. Then we're going to come back down the other side, and on this side they're going to get a little bit bigger as they come down. So we have our second stalk of wheat. Okay, we're going to make a third coming off this right side. And that comes to a point, and then our line, same as the others. So we're going to start with our larger bumps at the bottom and work our way to the top with smaller bumps, one at the top, and come back down the other side. Okay, I'm going to make another one coming off the bottom here, and I'm going to parallel that and give it a point. And I'm going to make this one a smaller stalk of wheat, so it's going to have less bumps than the others. Ultimately, you can make as many stalks of wheat as you want to until you think it's a good arrangement and your window is full. I'm going to add in now some more curvy lines that don't have the wheat at the top. These are just like the grass that grows around the wheat. So you make yourself a curve, and then it's pointy at the end and it parallels back down. And you fill it in until your window looks full. Okay, I think my window has the right amount of wheat now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way around the inside of my window frame, and I'm going to run my marker right beside the line that I already drew, and that makes this line about twice as thick as the other lines on my paper. So it just helps emphasize this shape of the window. Oops, I kind of got too far away, so I'm just going to fill it in right there, which is fine. I'm just going to fill it in, because what we're trying to do is make the lines going around the window a little bit more bold than all of our other lines. So anywhere that I get away from either line, I just fill it in black to make that a little bit more bold. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing around the outside of my wheat design. So not every single line, just around the outside edge. And they do that in stained glass window designs. You'll see some lines are more bold than others if you pay attention when you go to church on Sunday, because it helps make the design pop off of the window. Okay, so you're just going to keep going around all your outside lines until the entire outside of your drawing has these more bold lines. Now, what that's about to help us do is we're about to put in a design in the background of this window, and this is just going to help our wheat stand off of the background so that the lines don't get lost in our design. And although this step takes a little extra time, it really helps your stained glass window look a lot nicer when it's all done. And art is all about the details that you put in. My mom always told me people will never notice what you do, but they will notice what you don't do. So if the design was getting lost in the background, people would notice that they couldn't tell that it's wheat. But because we're taking this time to go around the outlines and make it more bold, people probably will not notice that we did that, but it'll just look nice and they won't know why it looks so nice. And that's the trick to good art. Okay, now we're ready to put in our background design, and it's going to be very simple, but it's going to look really cool at the end. So what we're going to do is just draw straight lines in big chunks that go and meet our wheat, but they don't go through the wheat. Now you want the lines to move in different directions. And we're just breaking it up into smaller sections. So I'm going to make some of the lines angled and some of them across. You don't want the sections to get too small, but you just want them to look like random, broken sections of glass, basically. So I'm just going to keep putting in straight lines until all my sections are about the size that I want them to be. So again, the lines are just coming from the side of the wheat over to the window frame, and they stop. They don't go over any of our other lines. We just make a straight line, and when we come to another line, we stop. They don't cross over each other either. Very good. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to color this window so that this design really pops off of the window. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to play with warm and cool colors. So the wheat itself is going to be like a yellow or an orange color. So that's what we call a warm color. So warm colors are any variation of red, orange, and yellow. So then once we have all the wheat colored in our warm color, which I'm going to put a little bit of shadowing on the side of mine with orange, our entire background of the window, we're going to color with cool colors. Now our cool colors are any variation of blue, green, and purple. So I'm coloring the shapes in on the background, and I'm trying not to have any two shapes that are beside each other exactly the same color. So I'm trying to have, a green shape, not touch another green shape. But if it happens, it happens. So you're going to color in that entire background of the window with cool colors and see how those warm colors really pop off of there. So now for my window frame, I'm going around again only in warm colors to accent how I drew the wheat. And you can pause it here to try to match my colors. And don't forget about how to draw a chalice and how to draw grapes so that you can complete the whole series. Thanks so much for drawing with me today.